Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Good morning to all Jamaica. I want to say happy belated Emancipation Day and also happy Independence Season to all Jamaicans and Jamaica as a whole, wherever we are. Now, I say that thinking about this independence thing because to me, I'm still wondering what was our independence all about. We're actually in an effort now to get ourselves to rid ourselves of the monarchs. I'm still wondering what kind of independence we had, and why is it now such a legal slash political issue that for us to get rid of the monarch? And what was our allegiance to the monarch over these years? And how are we benefiting from the monarch? And the whole implication of the monarchical thing about Jamaica and why now? And all of that. I'd like Miss Marlene Malawfo to shed little light on that because yes, just tell people about monarch because just because of the fact that slavery people once you mention it, people are gonna, but people need to know behind that. When we become a republic, how will the constitution be adjusted to accommodate the status of our country, new status of a republic? What changes in the constitution will take place? And will that affect any rights that we have in the country and all of these things? 'Cause a lot of things can change. But that's not what I really want to talk about. I just say that because we're in the independence season right now. I want to go back to a video that I saw with the Prime Minister giving a speech at the East Rural St.Andrew constituency conference. And first of all, I must commend the campaign manager, Mr. Tufton, and his team, because of all the speeches and campaign speeches and constituency conferences that has been broadcast here on the YouTube platform, this is one of the better ones I've seen. And I must commend Mr. Tufton and his campaign team on the JLP side. This is one of the better ones, no doubt. Again, like I said, I have no dog in this fight, PNP or JLP. And I'm not saying that this is one of the better ones to lift up the JLP and put down the PNP. Because the PNP also has it, or has the opportunity to do good also. To produce something even better than the JLP. They have the opportunity to do it. But it's up to them. It's not up to me. I want to go on and open a speech on behalf of the Prime Minister by saying this. And this is a part of his speech. Early in his speech, he said this. Take away the party. Take away the government. She, meaning Mrs. Holness, his wife, cares, is smart, intelligent, willing to make the sacrifices, and is willing to make all the sacrifice needed to get things done for the people of her constituency. Now, Mr. Prime Minister, remember your wife said something about 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe not that long, maybe about 3 years ago. It was published in the Glean. I was looking for the publication because I know I have it recorded here, but I'll find it. I was able to find it. But I'll get back to that because I know for sure that I can find it. It was published in the Gleaner. She made the comment on your behalf, sir, that Jamaicans should vote for her husband to keep him in power for the next 20 years. Because he's the best thing for Jamaica. At the time I critiqued it, I was doubtful about it. I don't know why she said it. And I think this was some kind of political gerrymandering to some extent. Not by moving the boundaries, but by moving the minds of people. Because you can't gerrymander people in their minds. So, and I still retain that. I still believe that it was all about that. And to hear you say what you say now, sir, takes me back to the flood in Bull Bay 4 or 5 years ago. When that little girl was washed away in the flood waters, and she was saved by a gentleman downstream, not far from where she was being washed, started where the water picked her up. Not far. And I remember the visit of Mrs. Holness in the constituency, and I watched her hug that little girl, my own granddaughter, Mrs. Holness. I've said this in a video before. And I'm going to say it again, the many promises you made. I'm sure of one that was fulfilled. Wees Road was cleared of all the muck and the dirt and the sand and the stone and the gravel and the wood and the all sort of stuff that the river was carried down by the river. But most of the people who lived on Wees Road, all that debris was dumped in their yard. It wasn't taken away to be dumped by anything. Government didn't clean it up and take it away. Government just cleared the road and dump it in people's yard. I had to go into Pocket where that granddaughter lived and her grandmother. And we put together and clear out that yard, get the house cleaned out, washed out, because there were a lot of sand and stone and all sort of debris in the houses. So at least you can have a room to move into, wash it. You made a lot of promises, Mrs. Holness. But I'd like to ask you again, how many of those promises you fulfilled? Because you are the person your husband so eloquently speaks of, who cares, who is smart, intelligent, is about the people who will make the necessary sacrifice to get things done on behalf of the people in the East Rural constituency, East Rural St.Andrew constituency. How many of those promises you made 4 or 5 years ago were fulfilled? How many follow-ups were done to just check on people in the area, even just to find out, how are you guys doing? Where is your recovery? How far are you in your recovery process? Is there anything we as government can do to assist you along the way? It may not be much, but any little small thing is good enough. What can we do? Even get the social service workers, social workers to go out there. Because I know the government must have a social service department. Get social workers to go out there and talk to people, find out what is happening, how are you guys coping, how is things going. Give us some feedback so we can make decisions. Tell us, Mr. Prime Minister, of your caring, loving wife who is now got into politics initially because of you, but is serving now, not because of you, but because of the people she's represented. I'd like you both to tell us exactly where you are with that. But then a broader note, Mr. Prime Minister, your speech was one of the most directed and purposeful and meaningful speech I've heard coming out of a political campaign. Because not only was it that directed at uplifting the Jamaica Labour Party, but you also made something which is very, very important to me. You said something which is very important to me. And I say very important, sir, because it dovetails with exactly what I'm saying here. And I want to use this opportunity to welcome people, again, to listen to this Lenny Robbins YouTube channel. Know your politics. Let's come together to create a better understanding by watching what politicians do and say. Now, what the Prime Minister said dovetails accurately, perfectly, with what I'm trying to get out there. The name of my YouTube channel, Watch What They Do. And I'll say this, Mr. Prime Minister, when I heard you mention the book to be released with 250 things the JLP party has done, your government has done from 2016 to 2020 now. I was heartened to hear you say that, because what I know for sure, it will serve the purpose, as you mentioned and articulated to, it will empower people, enable people to make better decisions when casting their vote. They'll have information that will help them to make a better decision or the best decision for themselves when casting a vote. That is absolutely necessary. That is absolutely important. And I think that's the part of your speech that takes the cake for me. Whether the Jamaica Party is a better government or the PNP made promises they couldn't fulfill, that's neither here nor there for me, sir, because every party in Jamaica, the Jamaica Labour Party has made promises that it didn't fulfill. I could not fulfill. But just the fact that you are now opening up, or suggesting, not suggesting, you have done something to give people information, whether right or wrong, whether accurate or inaccurate, whether factual or whatever. But the fact that you indicate that, I must commend you, and I must commend again your campaign team. It's a tough time, do your thing. And the campaign team around you. That's a wonderful, wonderful idea, because I do believe that people should not only have the power to vote for a political party or vote for a member of parliament, but for vote for themselves. And the book reflects and will help you to know that you need to recognize as voters, you need to vote for yourself. Because with the information the book may be able to provide, you now can make an informed decision to vote for what you want. Because the book will tell you, oh yes, this is the government to vote for, this is not the government to vote for. Oh, this government is doing some great things, and this is what we need as people. So you're not voting not because of the government, but you're voting now because of what you see they're doing, and this is what you need. So you can put yourself in a position as voters to advocate for the changes you need in your community. And that is what is meant by voting for yourself. For too long, government has been using people to vote only to get them in power, and that's it. But I must say, Mr. Prime Minister, the book itself does not go far enough. And I just want to look at the way you construct that whole introduction of the book when you said 250 things that were done. And I'd like to make a distinction on that, because I know in politics when a person says things done, it doesn't mean, it's not the same weight. Done doesn't carry the same weight or meaning as if when I turn up to class tomorrow, my teacher says, is your homework, is your homework done? Or did you do your homework? Yes, professor, it's done. Let me see your homework. Okay, I need you to submit it. That done, and the done you're talking about politically, that political done doesn't necessarily carry the same weight and same meaning. Because in politics it can mean, yes, it's complete. And it can mean it's a work in progress. It can also, done can also mean that the project is all wrapped up, the planning and everything, just waiting on an environmental report for implementation. I've asked someone to get a copy of that book for me, because I'm not in the island right now, but I'll be there pretty soon. Because I need to go through to see those 25 projects for myself. That's 250 projects over 10 years, Mr. HOLNESS. That is 25 projects on average per year. And let us use the margin of error 3. Is that at 22? Some year may have 22 and some year may have 28. But on average it's 25 per year. And I'm saying to myself, and I heard you mention that, sir, that if the Jamaica Labour Party has completed 25 projects per year over 10 years in Jamaica, then your Labour Party now should be far ahead, much further in the head in the polls right now as it is in Jamaica. You should be way far ahead than where you are right now. And that is why I made the distinction between the homework analogy and political analogy. School analogy and the politics analogy about the word done, the weight and the meaning. You also made a good point there, sir, and I must commend you for this. I must commend you for it. When you speak about this rural water situation and what the government, your government, intend to do about it, the idea is absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely a brilliant one. To do it, to improve that rural water agency you talk about and get more engineers in and all of these things and, you know, implement it across. Even though you mentioned that it can be done in the constituency in which you were speaking about, East Rural, I know that can be, if it is successful there, that can be expanded across the island because there's still too many people in Jamaica without good running water. There's still too many communities in Jamaica without running water. And it can be done. So again, I must commend you on that vision. And I have to commend you on that vision because I remember listening to Isaac Buchanan over in Portland talking about when he was asked about some water thing by one of his constituents. And he was fumbling for an answer. The best he could give was that, why, he doesn't know yet, but he knows that water will be provided. Even if they have to dam it and get it over to you people, water will be provided. He was fumbling for a plan. He has no plan, he has nothing to suggest at the time, just as though you are now putting a plan in place. And this is what people are looking for from government. We want government to speak to us directly. How are you going to get this done? What is the plan? People need to have an idea what government is going to do. We need to have a better idea, though, Mr. Holness. When you're talking about doing these things, what time frame are we looking at? What are we looking at? I know we take one thing at a time, but at the same time, when you're trying to induce me to vote for you, and you're telling me about what you want to do, but not telling me when or how you're going to do it, is also something that's going to stop me in my tracks and let me rethink what you're saying. You understand? But I kind of overlook that to an extent. I kind of overlook it to an extent because the election is somewhere around the corner. Based on what you're saying, that the election is now near and due. You also made a statement that the JLP is a better government than the PNP. And citizens now have faith in the government. And all of this thing. But I have no fear to challenge that statement and that bold statement. Let me put it that way. That bold statement you made, Mr. Holness, because I am yet to see any real effort on government's part to be transparent to its people. The book you put out there is one way of becoming transparent in a very small way because you are now telling the people what has been done. To be transparent, the people has to have the opportunity to have a peek at what has been done. But at least it's a small step. And as we say, 1,000 miles traveled start with one step, the first step. So again, I'm just expanding to let you know that we need better than that and people need better than that. Good step, but people still need better than that because this is government. You're not running a home. You're not running a supermarket. This is not a private business. It's a public business. I see no transparency in that in government, sir. And I'm yet to see and hear from either party any effort to bring the nation together. I don't see those two things in government. So I don't know either JLP or PNP. So I don't know. And I don't know where or what convinces you, Mr. Prime Minister, that the Jamaica Labour Party is a better government than the PNP because people have faith in the Jamaica Labour Party. Because I don't understand how people can have faith in a political party that lacks transparency. I don't see how people can have faith in a political party that is doing nothing to bring the nation together. I don't see it. I'm wondering how many people at that constituency conference really think about this when you made that speech. They're all JLP, all green, and I know because they're all green and you said that, people will jump and say, oh, and whistles blow and bell rings and all, and the broom comes out and all of these things. But in all honesty, how many of them really stop to think that how can you be convinced that this is a better government when there's no transparency in government? When nothing has been done by the government to bring the nation together. Which takes me back to the book that you said you're going to put out there. Listen to 250 things. It's a good step to empower people, to put them in a position to make better voting decisions, an informed one. That's great. But how many PNP is going to pick up that book? Because the book is not bridging the divide, you know. That bridge is not doing nothing to create or to bring the nation together. Nothing. That book is selling JLP, not selling the country to PNP. Ladies and gentlemen, we really have to start to think our way through the politics, really and truly. And we can't just be confined to glorifying politicians because they say this and they say that. You understand? And if you really want to do that, I encourage participation in voting. I encourage everybody to vote who has the right to vote and who is a registered voter. I encourage everyone, get out, go and cast a vote because it's important. It is important to do so. But it is time to vote for yourself. Get the information. Get some information. Make an informed decision. Vote for yourself. So you have a voice to advocate on your behalf for the changes you all need in your constituency or in your communities. Because I've said it many times before, politicians will not move the needle of change. It is the people. We the people, you the people, has to do it, not the politicians. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say welcome once again to the Lenny Robbins YouTube channel. Know Your Politics. Let's come together to create a better understanding by watching and listening to what they do. So we can put ourselves or empower ourselves to better able to advocate on our own behalf for the changes that we need in our community. Ladies and gentlemen, overall, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Tufton, yeah, the whole campaign was good, but still, there's a lot of things in that speech, Mr. Prime Minister, questionable. But it's good to see some positiveness coming out of it. Ladies and gentlemen, Lenny Robbins YouTube channel. Blessed independence to all Jamaicans, even though I really don't understand the meaning of that independence. Be blessed, stay strong, stay safe.